We should be good. We should be good. What's good, Willow? Happy Monday to you, man. Happy Monday to you. What's good, Andreas? Andreas recently got the Daily Stoic book and the Daily Stoic journal. That's awesome. That was our first giveaway. So you got your books, and the other gentleman got the journal, the leather journal, and the third place winner for the copy of Meditations never reached out to me, so I have like 3 extra copies of Meditations. Personally, like at my house, I have 3 extra copies. Then you're welcome, Andreas. You are welcome. What's good, C Trades? Germany in the house. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Look, man, today has been, price action wise, awful. Awful. I think I haven't done anything today. I actually took a break early because I was like, this is just horrendous. And when the market is horrendous, nah. Because I feel like the more time you spend in front of the chart, the more likely you're going to take a trade. You know what I mean? So I was a little conflicted with the Dow because though those 33,746 lows that I thought was going to get hit on Friday, we never got that. We ended up trading back up into the imbalance, which I mentioned, and there was an opportunity to get out before that big move, and that was the final exit on that short. So part of me still wants 33,746, even though I'm not in anything on that, so that won't benefit me at all, other than just being right. But this morning, and then even at the stock exchange open, we had 34,117 as triple highs, at least for the micro. The E-mini looked different. There was a gap on the E-mini. Still triple highs here. But S&P didn't have the same thing. NASDAQ didn't have the same thing. I mean, look at this 5-minute time frame from this morning across the indices. It was terrible. This was awful. 830 is here. So look at all this. That was garbage. It was trash. Like, look at the S&P, bro. Here's our open. What is this? What is this nonsense? Even as of right now, it's like still generally silent. Today's just terrible. I doubt I'm going to stream all 3 hours today. What's good, Allie? I don't know if I'm going to stream all 3 hours today. But yeah, it's been gross. It's been nasty. So triple highs were outlined. I outlined that to my students. I said I favor a higher Dow, but I'm not pressing the button. And there was nothing to press in here for longs. Never happened. And if I tried to force something, I would have got stopped out, and then I would have been fucking mad. Not mad, but just like disappointed, like, you know, and that's not a habit that you want to be in. Forcing trade setups that aren't there. What's good, John? Wickden, what's good? But anyways, real quick, guys, if you could, I don't have the drop a like button ready. Drop a like on the video for me. We can try and get on the page somewhere. Try and get more people to hop onto the stream. I can't tell if we use tags or not. Someone told me to use tags. I'm like, okay. And I use quite a bit. So we'll see. We'll see. But we don't usually get too many people on here. We used to get a lot. Kinda. We usually get like 30, 40, and now it's gone down to like 20. So, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. You talk about shit like fucking JP Morgan popping 7% on that Friday. I told you guys about that shit. You know? Why is it we call trades, but yet we drop in viewers? I don't understand that shit. Help me understand, man. Help me understand. That shit was beautiful. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that weekly candle, dude. Look at that. Magnificent. Magnificent, bro. 145 equal highs or low resistant highs for JP Morgan. Come on, man. Wells Fargo today. Look at this market today. Look at this market. Google down, Netflix down, bunch of stocks down. Bank of America up 2%. And good old Wells Fargo up 3% today. Above anything else I have on this list. Microsoft flat, Walmart flat. All these stocks flat, but the stock we talked about last week, Wells Fargo's up 3% today. Get the fuck out of here, man. Yeah, I don't know what it is, bro. I don't know what it is. You know, and I'm not gonna use someone else's name to fucking get viewers or anything like that. We're pretty much organic here, so we will see. But that's not y'all's problem to worry about. Not y'all's problem. But hey, if you guys have a solution, let me know. Let me know. Free analysis. I don't give entries and exits and stops and stuff like that, but I've taught you where to place stops. I've taught you where to enter. You know, so I don't know. I just don't get it sometimes, man. I just don't understand sometimes. Now, as far as what we have for this afternoon, honestly, I have no idea. I think it's just ugly. And the only thing that I would carry over from last week is just the lows down here. But then part of me also feels like those equal highs are there too. And now we're not in the middle of those two, but now we're kind of just in between those two. So to me, what am I supposed to do with that? What do I do with that? Let me give you guys an update real quick. If you go to... Oh, the buying below the open video came out already. Okay. It's only like a 6-minute video. That was a follow-up for the shorting above the open. So that video came out 40 minutes ago. I thought it was going to come out later. I guess I did an earlier time than the stream. That makes sense then. Okay. Well, I guess the only update I have for you then is Thursday. Okay, Thursday, the 19th. I lied. That's Wednesday. Okay. On Wednesday, we have top 10 smart money trading rules. Okay. So that'll be at 3:15 Central. So that would be 4:15 p.m. Eastern. So make sure to click that notify me button. That way you'll get notified. We can watch it together. There will even be a chat. We can interact and have some fun. So that's a quick video as well. It's less than 12 minutes, I think, or less than 15 minutes. It's not a lot. Not a long time, at least. Is that the one you talk about drawdown? No, I'm still working on that one. That one is going to be a banger. And I usually don't say shit like that because I usually think that's cliche and that's like marketing bullshit that most people spew. Like, oh, look at this, look at that. But I'm actually working a lot on that one. Not like 10, 20. That's not going to be a 10, 20-minute video. That's going to be a longer one. And based on the polls, the two polls that I had, one was on Instagram, the other one was on Twitter. I had asked you guys, so I'm just looking at these lows right here. I was just watching that to see if we created equal lows there. I did the polls and the majority of you want between 15 to 30 minutes or 30 minutes or longer. So I've watched, do you guys know Alex Hormozi? I think that's how you say his name. Alex and I think Layla's wife. I think that's her name. Anyway, and I remember him saying one time, it was either him or Gary V. It might be both. And they put out a shit ton of content, dude. It's crazy. They spend like 6 figures a year or 6 figures a month, like producing that amount of content, which is crazy. But anyway, let me get back to the point. He was saying that as a content creator, you should appeal to the different content formats in terms of length of format. So he was like, you're going to have people that want short-term format. You're going to have people who want medium, and then you're going to want people who have long-term format. So he's like, you should basically have all three or all four. He was like, you should do the Instagram reel or the YouTube short for like your super short, concise content, and then you should make that same video but in like a 10-minute and then a longer one, 30, 45 minute or whatever. I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a bad idea. So with my content and where I'm taking it, let me see if I can go back to my channel for a minute. Like, let me see. The buying below the open, for example, the one that came out about 45 minutes ago, right? That's 6 minutes. It's a 6-minute video. So obviously there's not going to be dozens and dozens of examples or stories and, things like that. I could make that a 30, 45-minute video. So I guess I'll start doing that where we'll have short, medium, and long-term formats. And then so if you just want the short or medium, you can just stick to that. Or if you're someone who has time on their hands and you like the longer content, then we'll have that as well. And then, we'll see how that goes. Now, personally, I think it doesn't really matter to me. I'm good either way, But I will tell you, if you do like longer term or longer, long time format, just know that the longer the format, the more ads in the videos are going to be. You know what I'm saying? So, but hey, it is what it is. So it does look like, see, and this is that thing again, man. Micros slightly lower, E-mini equal there. So that might be important for this afternoon. We'll stretch that out to 3 o'clock. So we'll see how that goes. NASDAQ, I think, is our weakest index, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure there. Alex is a great book too. How many books does he have? Or is that the 100,000 one? Or the million one or some shit? It's like some number, I think. I don't have it, but I've heard good things about it. Or $100 million offers or something. Something like that, right? Let me see. What's better about futures over Forex? There's a lot of reasons I prefer futures over Forex. Certain tax advantages, but I'm not a tax advisor, so do your own research on that. No spreads as well. That's probably my favorite part about futures is there's no spreads. Where in Forex you're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 5 pips or so, and all that. It makes the smaller time frames really hard to trade in Forex. Especially when your broker can increase spreads to get you out before the big move. That has always bothered people like me. That's very annoying. Futures, the leverage doesn't change either. So the micro will always be $5 a point. The E-mini will always be $50 a point. I mean, unless it changes in the future, but it's been that way. And it doesn't change. So there's no needing to do any type of math. Or at least the math is a lot easier. Regulated exchange. So the only shady shit that can really happen is in price action. Versus like the broker trying to increase the spread, or there's a million different things that brokers can do to really just mess with your shit. Whereas in futures, it's on a regulated exchange and there's still manipulation, but you're going to see that in price. So it's easier to get past. So, yeah. There's all types of and there's more reasons. I just can't think of them off the top of my head, but those are like the main ones that reasoning why I prefer futures over FX. So no, Marwan, I haven't read the Quran. I don't have one. That's the one. Oh, okay, thanks, Allie. I may get to it one day, but I have so many books. Like, I keep telling myself, like, all right, you're not gonna buy any more, and then I fucking buy more. Read one, buy 5. Read one, buy 5. You know what I mean, dude? I'm actually running out of room. I have no more room. I have no fucking room at all. Like at this point, I'm like stacking books just in random places. Shit, I bought some Hot Wheels yesterday. My friend's kid, he turns 6 next weekend. Next Sunday, he turns 6 years old. So fun story. We'll get into story time here. So I went to the grocery store yesterday, and I usually always look at the Hot Wheels anyway. I collect Hot Wheels. I've been doing that for a long time. I just really ramped it up the last couple years because I'm just like, dude, I can't stop buying the shit. So I have Teslas. I mean, I got all kind of shit, but when I saw the Teslas, that's kind of when I got back into collecting Hot Wheels. So whenever I see one to get my friend's kid, I'll get two because I'll get one for me and I'll get one for him. Now I don't expect him to be a collector. He's 5 years old. He's gonna want to open it and play with it. But me, the fuck am I gonna do with a car? You know what I mean? Like I got a couple, like stuff like this, like a little this one's a Mustang or whatever, which I have on my desk, or kind of like my owl, which I've shown you guys, just kind of sits around. But I'll get two or three, so I'll get one for him so he can play with, and I'll just get one for me as a collector. So anyway, I was out yesterday at the store and I was looking through a bunch of them as per usual, and I try to get cool shit like the old classic cars, the Mustangs, the Camaros, whatever. I get all kind of Lamborghinis, whatever, sports cars, like stuff like that. I have a pink donut car too, which is really cool, but that's like the only silly one that I have. But everything else is like shit that I like, you know? So I'm at the store and this other guy is there, and he's a lot older than I am, and he's going, you know, going through all these cars because they have a shit ton at the store, bro. They have barrels and barrels and barrels. Honestly, I don't know why they have that many. They got a bunch on the wall too. I don't understand it, but I always look through it. So, you know, naturally, two older guys looking through cars, of course, we strike up a conversation. And so I posted this on my story too, if you want to look at it on my Instagram story. I really suggest you look at it because I just put it away. I can't grab it for you. Oh, I lied. The one that I haven't wrapped yet. Here, I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab it real quick. I'll show you. Don't go anywhere. Wait a minute. You guys can still hear me, right? Shit kind of disappeared for a minute. What platform do you trade on? I trade directly through TradingView, but I'm not gonna recommend any broker. It will help people to click on the content. Okay, book addiction is good. Yes, it is. Okay, thanks guys for the sound check again. So we end up, you know, talking about cars or whatever. He's like, yeah, I'm getting this for my son. I'm like, yeah, I'm getting one for me, but you know, for my friend's kid as well. And he goes, you should check out this one. It's in Braille. And I'm like, what the fuck? So he shows me this one, and it might be hard to see, but you guys know what Braille is, right? The dots and shit, for blind people, right? For blind people. So apparently this is new, for 2023. Oh shit, it says it on the package too. It says new 2023. So okay, that's how he knew that. I didn't look at it, but I'm like, okay, that's really cool. So he shows it to me, and I'm like, dude, I gotta get some of these. I gotta get some. I was like, show me where they're at. So then we go to these 4 big ass barrels, and we're just pulling them all, looking through shit, and I ended up getting like 3 of them. So I'm getting one for him, and then I'm keeping 2. But when I go back to the store, I might go back later today. If I don't go later today, I'll probably go on Wednesday. And if I can find more, I'm going to buy fucking all of them. All of them. I think this is badass. What does it say? So it's got the dots on, I don't know if they're called dots, but those little bumps or whatever are on the side, like the left side, the right side, and even on the back of it, like on the back of the car. So on the back of the package, and I think those equal lows are going to get wrecked, just so you know. And then Allie always goes down to the 1 minute time frames and finds those sniper entries without me. So I guess we'll have to watch both. We'll have to see. So on the back, let me blow this up because you guys aren't gonna. You're gonna be like, what the fuck is he talking about? It's not the. I think it's. Okay. So on the back of it up here at the top where it has like the numbers of the what's the name or whatever, it has what it means. So I guess the left side says twin and the right side says mill. So it's the Hot Wheels Braille Racer Twin Mill, excuse me, MILL. And the guy told me that the back said something else. They like looked it up and he told me and I fucking forgot. Maybe it says Hot Wheels on the back. I don't know. I don't read Braille at all. I couldn't tell you. But anyway, so I think because you guys know me, right? I'm all, and here's like a better view. Maybe if you didn't see it earlier on the smaller camera, and it's not an automatic. I don't have it where it auto focuses, so I can't really show you. Oh, you can't even see the price action either. Sorry. But yeah, it's just a white car with the braille on it, right? So you guys know me, right? We do Philosophical Fridays now, and I've put you guys on to, you know, Stoic philosophy and whatever else, right? So my thought process a little bit is the 6-year-old, right, needs to know how fortunate he is, right? Or how fortunate all of us are that we do have vision, right? Because not everybody has the ability to see. There are, you know, blind people in this world. So I was kind of hoping that, you know, maybe his dad and him can, you know, have that conversation or whatever. So, you know, he can learn some shit. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's cool. I mean, he'll probably end up opening it and playing with it, and that's fine. But I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's badass, and I want to buy a lot more of these. And they finally went back to $1. The store was hoeing for a while. They went up to $1.25. And I'm like, look, I'm not gonna bitch about a quarter. I still bought a lot at $1.25, but I was like, y'all do realize this is a 25% increase in these car prices, bro. But yeah, they finally went back to $1. So I'm like, okay. And then this guy, he told me about this YouTube channel. He's like, bro, this YouTube channel does like this unboxing for shit, like stuff that hasn't even come out yet, whatever. I'm like, dude, that's badass. So I watched a couple of videos last night. They got some, there's like a Nissan exclusive something that's coming out to Walmart and whatever. So, and then he also told me about this shop in Houston. It's like 25-30 minutes away, but I looked it up. He's got a website, and dude, there's like this gigantic wall. I mean, big ass wall, and it's full of cars. And I'm like, dude, I need to go visit that store. I need to go visit that store. But I'm telling you this because I put them all away yesterday. I put all the cars into a box, filled up the entire box, and put them away. So I have a massive collection of books. I don't know if my collection is a lot or not for Hot Wheels. I guess if you're a kid, my collection would probably be like heaven because there's so many. But to adult collectors, I don't know. I probably have a decent collection. Nothing crazy, but quite a few cars. So And I think Hot Wheels collectors, I mean, dude, it's probably one of the cheapest things that you can collect. They're not expensive. They're $1. You know what I mean? Like they're $1. So you get 5 or 10 of them every month, and within a year you're gonna have over 100 cars. You know what I mean? So it's cool. It's cool. And I have a few of the pops, and a couple of them are like dual NFT ones. It's like a pop, you get the physical thing, and then you get like a NFT pop as well. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I'll grab a couple of those. They're probably worth way fucking less than what I bought them for, but hey, the physical stuff is cool too, because I've integrated my bookshelf. I've got some bookends here and there, and then I've got a couple of pops here and there too. But at this point, I'm like taking the pops out to put on top of the bookshelf to put more books in the actual shelf. So it's like I have no more room for I gotta stop buying shit. Too much stuff. So anyway, just watching the 1 minute imbalance. I'm not doing anything with that as of right now. If anything, these lows are just awful, because we have a lower low there, we have a higher low on the S&P, we had a higher high or a higher low on the Dow, but now we have equal lows. So dude, today is just fucking awful. Like, excuse my language, I'm sorry, but today is disgusting. It's almost like a repeat of Friday, where I told you guys, like, I don't want to be here, I'd rather go do something productive. Dude, I literally, I feel that way today. I feel that way today. It's not that I don't want to be on YouTube. I love being here. But it's even better when there's like actual opportunities. And when there's not opportunities, it's like there's no need to be here. There's no need to like waste our time here. Remember Friday, I was like, dude, if we come back and then consolidate, I'm gonna be fucking mad. That's exactly what we got too. It came back into the range and then kind of drifted higher into the close. But luckily I closed out before the move higher, which is fine, but you know, still. The only opportunity that there was for a reversal in the last hour on Friday was with the NASDAQ, in my opinion. I don't know if you guys took a look at that. Because remember, we'll do a little follow-up too. If you guys were here on Friday, remember we talked about that high at 13,173, and we started to creep up there, and I told you there was stops here, and that's probably going to be attacked, right? Well, before it attacked that, it came down, and there's a small imbalance right here too, which may be something on a higher time frame. There was a 15-minute imbalance there too. And then the important piece to that is 2:15. So if you mark up that last hour, 2 to 3 o'clock, and we'll go back to the 5 real quick. See that? So that move right there, and remember we talked about this low down in here. For the members, you guys have that community tab I showed you. I showed you that chart on the community tab. Right? We diverged down here, and then we creeped up there, didn't take it, came down to rebalance price first, and then took off. So as soon as price started to take off here on the Dow, it came back into a gap right here, and then it was this candle right here that I closed the final position. Okay, so it was It was a 15-minute, but it was somewhere around 200, 34, like 200. Okay. So short entry there. New low here. So there was TP1. Equal lows here at 1230 swept. So that was TP2. Yes, very close to the low of the day. And then that gap, as soon as we started to take, I was a little bit late because I wasn't watching it like that. But when I finally came back to check, I was like, oh, fuck. You know, we may end up trading high. We've got a bunch of highs here. I'm like, okay, I'll just get out, you know, beforehand. So it was like roughly right in there. So enter, short, boom, exit, boom, exit, boom, exit. It was probably one of the best Fridays this year. Easily best Friday this year. Because I told you Fridays are usually my worst days. Friday's usually my worst trading day. Not last Friday. Okay. But so I tell you guys these things because, you know, yeah, this is a live session and we're doing not a live session, but we're analyzing live price, right? But if we follow up with other things, that still teaches you something of why I was doing what we were doing. And not that I would recommend to rewatch the whole session, but if you did, or if you were there, we talked about all the possibilities, right? We talked about how there was a divergence down there. We talked about how the NASDAQ may come up for those highs. So I may not want to hold the short and may want to get out, right? We talked about all those things. And that's experience. That's me talking to you literally before the chart does that shit. Or as it's doing it. So, you know, is that a trade that you took or that you can act on? It may or may not be, but it still counts as knowledge and it's still experience of watching price. So hopefully that is still beneficial to you guys. So there's that. I used to be a coin collector. And that shit was addicting. What kind of coins? You talking about like quarters and nickels and dimes and shit, or like gold, silver? What type of coins are we talking about here? Oh yeah, Allie, the 15-minute is doo-doo. Doo-doo. This is garbage, bro. Oscar the Grouch type trash. Remember how I said Thursday last week was one of the worst days of this year? Fuck that. Today is one of the worst. Today's number one. Today takes the cake for the worst price action of the year. Monday, April 17th. Worst PA of the year. Hands down. Hands down. Yuck. Absolutely disgusting. Let's imagine for a second we didn't have YouTube, right? What would I be doing? I would not be here. I would not be here. I just started a book recently. I didn't share it because I didn't know if it was going to be good yet. But it's by Boethius. 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 It's called The Consolation of Philosophy. And because I scroll through like the Penguin Classics to see like what's available, you know, and philosophers reference other philosophers and stuff. And there's this big timeline on like, you know, the philosophers, and they kind of build on each other sometimes, to a degree, of course. Some are completely opposite to others, but either way, Boethius was mentioned in other books, and I finally looked at this one, and I looked it up, and basically he was executed, but before he was executed, he somehow was able to write a bunch of work. So on the back it says, written in prison before his brutal execution in AD 524, Boethius, The Consolation of Philosophy, is a conversation between the ailing prisoner and his nurse, Philosophy, whose instruction restores him to health and brings him enlightenment. Boethius was an eminent public figure who had risen to great political heights in the court of King Theodoric when he was implicated in conspiracy and condemned to death. Although a Christian, it was the pagan Greek philosophers that he turned to for inspiration following his abrupt fall from grace. With great clarity of thought and philosophical brilliance, Boethius adapted the classical model of the dialogue to debate the vagaries of fortune and to explore the nature of happiness, good and evil, fate, and free will. So, yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. And I'm not that far into it. I'm going to probably finish it this week or sometime soon. So, yeah. It's funny because this was a few hundred years after Seneca, but it's like, dude, the emperors just kept getting everybody for a conspiracy. I just feel like those people were just all the Roman emperors, except for Marcus, of course, and a few of the other ones, a couple of them before Marcus. They were all just like probably fucking schizophrenic, it sounds like, because it's like they always felt like people were plotting against them and they probably just went crazy. You know, Nero went crazy. And I guess it's just interesting because the closest people to the emperor are going to be obviously his wife and kid, or the wife and children or whatever, but it's also going to be the advisors, right? So then who's likely to get killed for conspiracy against the emperor? It's the advisors, because they're the closest ones to him. So all he has to say is, off with your head, bro. Boom. You're done. You're toast. Because they didn't have cameras, iPhones, technology. They couldn't prove anything. So it was just word of mouth. And whose word is superior to everyone else's? The king, the emperor. What they say goes. So someone could just say, oh, hey, man, they conspired to kill you. Those three guys over there, they conspired to kill you. Boom. And all three of them are dead. Crazy shit, man. Crazy shit. So, hey, it's almost in like today's world. Not that I wanted to get political, but when it's he said versus she said in the courtroom, you guys know exactly who wins more. Right? In custody battles, you guys know who gets custody of the kids more so than another. I don't have to say it. You guys know it. It's crazy, man. Crazy world we live in. Some people had no proof whatsoever. People still go to jail. I believe there are innocent people on death row. You know what I mean? Crazy shit. Not all of them, of course, but at least one or two of them. Gotta be. So I can only imagine what it was like to live in those times. When at any time, the emperor could just kill anyone. For any reason. Whether it was true or not. But why am I telling you this shit? Because, again, if we come back to Marcus Aurelius, he had that same power. He had the same power. He could have killed anybody at any moment. But he chose not to. He chose to forgive people instead. Literally, this dude, it was rumored that Marcus was dead, even though he was not. So this one dude started walking around claiming that he was the emperor. You know, this is my ship now. I'm the captain now, type shit. And Marcus still was like, no, forgive him. Like, don't punish him. It's cool. And that just proves more about Marcus's character and why that guy was so incredible. That's all I'm saying. You may not like it. You may not like philosophy or the shit that I talk about, but hey, I do. I think it's great. And I finally understand why some people get into philosophy and they go down the rabbit hole. Like, they just get so far lost in the sauce, trying to learn all the people and all the stories and interpretations of what they wrote about and all this crazy. I'm not into it like that, but I'm into a good story and I'm into some good lessons as well. Dude, I read a book the other day called The Bear. Awful. Awful. I mean, it was very detailed. Like, if you're someone who likes hunting and camping and shit, you might like it. I hated it. It offered nothing philosophical. It offered no lessons, no parables. Or maybe I'm just not smart enough to, maybe it went over my head, but I was reading it and I just kept getting annoyed. I'd have to stop reading, read another book, and then come back to this one the next day. And it fucking took me forever to read it. And I told myself, I was like, you don't have to finish this book. And I was like, nah, but maybe the ending has something good. You know, because that's how stories go, right? There's usually, like, if you guys know anything about writing or about stories and how they're built, you know, you've got your protagonist, antagonist, you've got your, you know, the hero's journey, whatever. And so I'm like, okay, well, maybe it'll have a happy ending. Maybe we'll learn something here at the end. Nothing. It just ends. And I was really tempted to fucking toss that book into the lake. I just wanted to toss that fucking book in the lake. But I was like, nah, we're not going to litter. We're just going to put it back on our bookshelf and leave it at that. I don't even want to donate it. And like I said, maybe I overlooked it because it got really good reviews on Amazon. So what did I miss? You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I don't get it. Anyway, it was like overhyped. From the Washington Post. Yeah, that was probably a red flag right there. Not that I'm gonna get all political on you, but I mean, it got a lot of reviews from like big publications. Yes. Anyway, I'm over it. Obviously, you can tell I'm over it. What, John? What bills did you collect? What unique bills do you have? I have a couple $2 bills, which are cool. Those are really hard to find right now. I mean, they stopped printing those a long time ago. You know, I want to see if that gap means anything. I don't think I'm convinced enough to short that, but I do want to watch it here and see if we sell off from there. But again, I still think today's awful. I think today's gross, and I really don't want to take any trades at all. But if I had to place a trade, I think it might be that. But I can't frame a logical stop because all we have is lower highs. We have these highs here, then we have a lower high, a lower high, a lower high, and then another lower high. So to me, I wouldn't want to put my stop right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, that's kind of tight, because this could easily rally above these highs to then take the lows. So price action wise, I think it's cool, but I'm not with it. I'll watch it, of course, but I'm not with actually placing a trade on that. Personal opinion. You got some dinar bills. Dinar bills. I have like a $5 in British pound. I think it's in my box. The one that's lock and key. With my silver in there too. It's like a $5 white. I think it's white and red with like a see-through kind of thing on it. With the Queen of England, I'm pretty sure. But that's it. That's it as far as the foreign currency that I have. Like physical foreign currency, at least. You got two $10 billion Zimbabwean notes. Man said they're worthless, but still cool. Yeah. You got $2 bills. They give those out at baby dolls. What is that? What is that? Okay, interesting, John. Interesting. You know, there was a $20 bill. They were going to replace Andrew Jackson, I think, with either Harriet Tubman or Rosa Parks, or I can't remember. They were going to replace Andrew Jackson on the $20 bill here in the US, and then they canceled it. I think they changed their mind. I was disappointed. I want some new ones. Do you guys remember that from a few years ago? Can we look that up? Let me see. We need like an assistant who can look shit up, kind of like Jamie for what's his name? You guys know what I'm talking about. Joe Rogan. Okay, so from a quick Google search, it looks like I was right. The Obama administration Treasury Secretary Jack Lew had selected Tubman to replace Andrew Jackson, the nation's 7th president, on the $20 bill. So it was supposed to be Harriet Tubman. And I don't know why they canceled that. You know what? I think it was something like it was going to cost too much or whatever, which I think is bullshit. Let me see. I need to follow up with this, and let's put an alert here too. Let's put an alert there. It looks like Harriet Tubman will appear on the $20 bill in 2030. 2030. Another fucking 7 years? Or 6.5 years, I guess. That's crazy. But you know what? I think that's a really good move. I think that's a really good move. You know why I think so? Because I think they're doing that because it was Andrew Jackson who was a slave owner. So to replace him, oh, there are the lows. To replace him with her, that's solid. That's a solid move. I just don't know why they have to wait that long for that. That's crazy. All right. Well, anyway, there's that. 1973 $20 bill that's worth a few hundred. Well, John, I can tell you that that's probably only going to go up in value from here. 1973 $20 bill, especially if they change it, if they replace Andrew with Harriet Tubman. Because it's just going to become an older variation. So I think that would be worth more in value. But I wouldn't get rid of it for the money, though. I wouldn't get rid of it for the money. All right, so this is interesting. We have went ahead and did the old whoop-de-whoop with the Dow on a small time frame. But again, we are still... Where did my Marcos go, bruh? Oh, there we go. On the micros, that's why. Okay. So, great. We're below equal lows on the Dow, but we're still in between highs and still in between the original lows that was pointed out last week. So, what do we do from here? I don't know. I think I would pay attention to the other indices because it looks like NASDAQ has not traded lower, which is cool. But the S&P, it looks like that's going to get wrecked too. So I think we're going to have to give this a little bit more time, a little bit more information. But yeah, so study that. Study that gap right there. Not bad. But as I mentioned, I didn't take that here. These highs just to me just didn't look good. Didn't look good. So the question to me is this going to be a run on stops to go higher? Or are they all just going to continue to trade lower? And I think the evidence is going to present itself soon. But it may very well be a stop run. Ugh. What do you guys think? What are y'all's thoughts? What are y'all thinking? Or do y'all consider throwing the whole day out? Throwing the whole day away? Excuse me. Excuse me. NASDAQ is diverging. Yes, it is. Let me look at my other chart as well. It's easy to see all three at the same time versus trying to look at each one individually. That's why we have these other charts. And then what happened to my other one? There we go. Yeah, I'm trying to see if there's anything with the dollar index here. And it looks like ass too. In terms of intermarket. Because the dollar, all right, we'll match the time frames then. At 12 o'clock, if you look at the dollar index, at 12 o'clock, they immediately started trading lower. Indices are also lower. So, what am I going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do when they both go down together? I guess if the dollar goes down and the indices fail to go higher, maybe that's an indication of weakness. But when they all three don't do the same thing, it gets very questionable. Have I looked at the treasury bonds lately? I looked at them earlier today and didn't really see anything worthy other than maybe this low from March 29th. Those aren't equal lows in my opinion, but they're still kind of close together. And you know how most people are going to look at it. They're going to go, that's close enough. Right? So treasury bonds may trade below that low. Coming off of 7 down days recently. But treasury bonds have been lower. The indices have not gone lower. If anything, the last few days have been really not good. Friday last week was very clean. Everything else has been doo-doo. Doo-doo. So Dow continuing to trade lower. S&P finally taking the morning session low. So we'll put that on here now. So you do have that. And the NASDAQ not doing so. Okay, so the NASDAQ is, and that's not even the same low from the morning. That's at 1120. So that's not even the same low reference point for the S&P. So, yeah. It is hard to say. I can tell you that. For me, at least. I mean, maybe you have a strong conviction in one direction, but I'm not digging it. I'm not digging it. Max says, I'm not in a trade, but I think S&P goes below 4120. Today? And is that for the futures or is that for a different chart? Because 4120 for me is down here. That's down there. We may just honestly go take a look at currencies at this point. That's what we're probably going to do. So Siva agrees with 4120. So you're saying that for today. You're saying 4120 for today? $33,250 on Dow. Jesus Christ, bro. I don't think we're looking at the same chart. What type of time horizon are we on here, boys? What time horizon are we on? Or what asset are we on too? I mean, that's definitely not hitting today. That's your swing? That's a excuse me. That's interesting. We do have triple highs up here though, just so you know. We have triple highs up here. So I'm not saying that we can't trade down there. At least for the ETFs, it's 33,250 is actually a little bit up here. So that's doable. But triple highs up here too. So just be mindful of that. But I have no idea what the next couple of days are going to do. I guess if I had to say, I'd probably want higher. But you guys also know I'm long on Wells Fargo, so that's, you know, there might be a slight bit of bias there. Look at that. We're getting almost no down days since that imbalance here. Told you guys. McDonald's repeat. High time frame. Daily gap. Bam. Crispy. Let's just hope it continues. 3.3% on the day. Number two, at least for the list I have, Bank of America, 2.3%. So not as good, but it's creeping. Still would have been a nice play from 27, 28 up to 30 and some change. If you guys took a look at JP Morgan options on Friday, they were pretty bussin', bro. Some of them were up 350, 300%. Look at equity same time last year. Equities last year. They probably took April of 2022. April. Well, oh shit, that's a weekly. Yeah, so this is April of last year, and they took a massive doo-doo. Yeah. That is true. Well, we need to take a look at the seasonal data. I haven't looked at the seasonal data in a while. I need to go revisit that today. I might do that later. Go look at all of our seasonal data for indices. Indubitably. Well, it's definitely possible, but I think it's, for me personally, it's easier to call bigger moves on single stocks than it is for the index itself, personally. I think part of that is just because of the criteria for some single stocks, because sometimes the single stocks will show accumulation or distribution in reference not only to its sector and its peers, but also the index that it's a part of. And that when the conditions are like that, it's way easier to spot setups on stuff like Walmart or Bank of America, JP Morgan, than it is for me for indices. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we're at a fairly interesting place right now though for stocks. So, ew. Still below the lows. S&P not really giving anything strong off of those lows. And the NASDAQ is the NASDAQ. Well, yeah. So again, for my thought process is how do we react from these lows? That's going to be my question. Because if this is a stop run, that'll likely be the low of the day. We're at a 50 level too, 41.50. So 41 and a half could be there. The only thing that would make me feel better is if we had some sort of highs, some sort of equal highs that were clear and obvious. Because if we reverse, we'll attack stops. The first stop of stops is going to be that high, 41.58. Everyone and their grandma's bearish on dollar. I'm going to be bullish. That's why shorting everything XXX USD. I get that. I get that. Aren't the equal highs at the top clear and obvious? Of which one? Of S&P or Dow? Because I don't see equal highs for anything. Or maybe we did and I just missed it. But I don't see equal highs for the S&P. $41.76. $41.76. Oh, you're talking about those. Well, I mean, technically those are, but look how far that is. We would have to surpass this high and then this one and then these highs and still get up there with an hour and 45 minutes left in a day. So remember how I talk about time stops as well? When there's big moves in the market and then we're anticipating an additional, a reversal of today's entire range in a very small amount of time. Like, so price would have to come all the way back up here within an hour and 40 minutes. Like, to me, can it happen? Of course it can. The market can do anything. But to see that today, I don't think so. I think the equal highs are fine, but it's just on a really small time frame. And also, those aren't equal highs on the E-mini. See that? Those aren't equal high on the E-mini. So if I had to say, the E-mini would be more important than the micros. I would say the E-mini is more important to watch than the micros. Now, if you can't afford to trade the E-minis, which is pretty much the majority of traders, because it's $50 a point, which is a lot to most people, and I can agree that's pretty substantial. But If you watch E-mini but trade the micros, I think that is okay. It's only $5 a point. So it becomes a lot less stressful. You're going, okay, I won't get my face fucking ripped off in a 5-point move. Whereas E-mini, 5 points is $250. Whereas 5 points on the micro is only $25. So most people would rather lose $25 than $250, especially in only a few minutes of trading. So all in all, I would not count this as a high probability target, at least for today. Given the time constraint, given the E-mini doesn't have it, that's kind of the reason why. Make sense? So it's just probabilities. It's not guaranteed. It's just probabilities. Right? What's the probability the tooth fairy visits me overnight and leaves me a $5 bill under my pillow? Well, the chances are very low. Not impossible, but very low. So would I put a trade on that? No. Not going to put a trade on that. However, what are the chances the tooth fairy visits my friend's 5-year-old after he loses a tooth? You know what I'm saying? The probabilities are a lot higher. Okay? So that I'd put money on. That I would put some money on. Given the parameters of that and probabilities. So it's not, and I know you know this, but we may have new viewers and stuff that come on or whatever. Stop losses, okay, and targets are not always about, you know, liquidity or imbalances and stuff like that. That's part of it, but part of it is also time. I don't just take a trade and go, all right, that's my stop no matter what. Like, no, if it's not going my direction fast, or if it's consolidating for a long time and the market's getting ready to close, I'm not going to hold that trade. That's a very bad idea because of the time constraint, especially for intraday trades. Not just timing the market, but time in the market. See what I'm saying? And there aren't really too many people who talk about that. There's a few, but most don't. Most just say, enter, leave your stop where it's at, leave your TP where it's at. But, you know, those same people aren't calling trades in advance. They're not, you know, they're not all that accurate. Or they're not as accurate as they make it, and they try and make it seem like they are. Or they'll make up some excuse. Oh, well, this, that, and the third. It's like, well, yeah, you can always go back in hindsight and say, well, it didn't work for this reason or for that reason. But at the moment, though, you didn't say shit. You see what I'm saying? So, again, not that I want to start no shit. It's just, there's a lot of details in trading. There's a lot going on. It's not just entering and exiting, but it's patience to hold a trade, patience to wait for a setup, and then you got to know when your trade is likely to pan out or it's not. And that's why I think Friday honestly was probably one of the best streams, not because of, you know, getting in at the high and getting out at the low. It's not about that. That's part of it, yes. But I think it was one of the best streams because in terms of, I was in a short, but I was still framing that we could trade higher, right? It's leaving that open bias of, this will benefit me and that's what I want. But if the market does something different and goes opposite, then I want to be ready for that. And to have the humility to say, okay, this trade is over. Short is no longer probability. I just need to take what I can get before the market starts to run against me. And that's hard for a lot of people to do. It's very difficult for some people to do, to admit that they're wrong, because they just want to let the trade pan out. Let it pan out. Let it pan out. You get new information, bro. You get new information, new candlesticks that are forming, new hours or new times of the day that are forming that can completely disrupt your trade. But number one, you either don't know that that's going to happen, or number two, you might know that it may happen, but you don't have the humility and the humbleness to just admit that you're wrong and get out. And then guess what? Guess what suffers the results? That's when you go back and you go, well, fuck, man, I should have got out. Well, oh, man, we had some lows here. And, you know, I didn't take partials because I thought we were going to continue running the lower the rest of the day. Right. But at the time, that's not what you were thinking, though. At the time, you were thinking, oh, yeah, this is awesome. Look how much I'm up. And now it's going against you. And now you're shitting yourself, sweating, heart pounding, because you're like, damn, now my profits are eroding as the market goes up. You got to learn from your mistakes, bro. You got to learn from your mistakes. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question real quick. How do you think you get out at the low of the day? Think about that. Think about that. How do you exit a short position at the low of the day? It means let's just say this is the low of the day. I don't know if it's going to be, but let's just imagine for a second, you're in a trade like this and it looks bearish. The only way to get out at the low of the day is to get out as the market runs lower. Simple as that. As it goes lower, boom, new low, you buy it back. You close your short. And then guess what? Magically, the market fucking reverses and you're not in a trade anymore. So you banked the maximum amount on that price leg as it was going lower, not as it's coming back up. Because guess what happened? And this is what we do, right? This is what we do. Let's just say, let's talk about the Dow for a minute, because we talked about this earlier. Let's say for a minute that we ended up shorting that gap, right? And then we made a new low here. Imagine if you were still short right now. If you were short here and the market extended like 60 points, but then now it's rallied like 30, 35. So now like half your open profit is gone. And then what do you do when you see that? You're going, oh shit, man. I should have got out the new low. Why didn't you though? Why didn't you do that? Or at least partial there. You don't always have to collapse your trade. You can always break it down piece by piece. Right? If we shorted that, I would say exit half at the new low and then hold the other half to see if we end up trading a lot lower for the rest of the day. Because I don't know if we are or not. Now, if that was me today, I probably would have got out the entire position here because I am lost today. Not lost in terms of I don't know what I'm doing. It's lost as in I don't know what's high probability right now. Because today's been shit. And I wouldn't want to hold a trade on without a very high conviction in one direction. And if I don't have that high conviction, then I'm not going to hold it. Because at that point, then it's just whatever happens, happens. It's just like 50-50. Could go higher, could go lower, fuck it. Black or red type shit. And do I want to put money on a black or red situation? At a casino, maybe. Because we're having fun. And we're not really there for the purpose of making money. Because you don't really go to the casino to make money. You usually go there knowing that we're probably going to lose everything here. There's a chance we could walk away with more, but probably not. Because you know the favor, you know the casino's not in your favor. So in trading, we don't want those type of odds. We don't want a 50-50. We want a like 80-20. Like, oh shit, lows were taken. We have highs at, at up here. So liquidity's been swept on the downside. Now we're getting bullish movement to the upside. So that's no longer 50-50. That to me is more in favor of long positions. You know what I'm saying? So that's like what I like to wait for. But it's got to be the right setup at the right time with the right context. And I personally cannot frame that right now. It looks like this was a little woo-doo. A little scoop below those lows. The E-mini, at least. But the reaction higher is probably not what I would want it to be. It's like it's given a reaction, but not like a stellar, just massive movement to the upside, breaking structure and all that. It's not doing that. It's like barely trading off a bit. So it's just hard to say. It really is. It's hard to say. And I don't think that's the right color. Now it is. I knew something was different about that. So we've been here for an hour and a half, almost. And I'm pretty sure I'm just going to cut it here because I don't think there's anything left to do for me. Not until the last hour, which is not for another 30 minutes. So I'm not going to sit here for another 30 minutes just to wait for that or something to potentially may happen. You talking about this candle, Andres? I guess. I mean, I don't really look that far back like that, but if you're talking about that, then maybe. Oh, that's a wick on a 15-minute. Let me see. Let me see if there's anything on a 1 minute. It looks gross. You could say there's a lack of wick right there, which isn't bad. Or you could say there's an imbalance right there. 943 to 953. That's right there. But I don't trade that way. I've shown stuff like that before, but I don't take trades like that anymore. You can, but sometimes if it doesn't hold, it'll run straight to your stop and you'll go, oh, fuck. So again, it's up to you, but not something that I really look at. So yeah, I'll probably go ahead and cut it here. I might take a little break here before the final hour, but I'll leave you with this because I always want to try to leave you with something to look for, just in case. I would say, if it was me, I favor a reversal on the S&P. For the E-mini, okay, this is why. Lows swept. NASDAQ looks like shit, but it's not going lower. So there may be accumulation there. If this is a run on stops, if we reverse higher, who's in open profit right now? Think about it. Think about it. Who's in open profit? Anyone who's shorted. This looks like absolute horrendousness, but if anyone who shorted that or even this, shorts are in open profit. So if the market reverses, what is it going to attack? It's going to attack stops, right? Trailing stops. Because people are taking their stops wherever they're at originally, dragging it to this high, and probably dragging it to this high. And so what's important about this high here at 4158 is that just above that, there's that gap right there. So it would appear that there is stops. So you have liquidity here and the gap. So again, we may not see a lot of movement right now, but I think the final hour would attack these levels here easily. And if it is volatile enough, if it continues, then I think the next available target would be 41.64.5, 65 basically. Now the market would have to probably do a lot. That's only 10 points from now, but that's what I think is likely. So I would, if I were you, I'd put both of those levels on here. Okay. Liquidity swept on the downside. Shorts have been open profit all day. It would just make sense for them to get knocked out of here. So put an alert at 41.59, which is the gap fill close. It was the close of the gap, basically. If I can find the thing here. Did I do the right one? Yeah. So 41.59, gap fill, 41.64.5 is the first morning session high. If I can put a okay. So those are the two alerts for today, 41.59 and 41.64.5 for the S&P. All right. We'll see how it goes. If we trade lower, then guess what? I'm wrong. Then I'll be wrong. But if we get evidence, if we get any buying opportunities between 2 and 3 o'clock to get that, I may end up taking that. Okay. So there's your context. There is your justification. And, you know, it's not a signal. Okay. It's not trade advice. It's just that is what I think is going to happen. That is what I'm going to look for. Okay. So y'all be blessed. I will see y'all. Let me see. Tomorrow, Tuesday at 2 p.m. EST. All right. So y'all be good. And I will see you then. Leave a like for me. Leave a like if you could before you go. Thanks, guys.